On today's show,
Excuse me, sir. Do you know where the campground is?
meet a winter camper with a serious sense of humor. Sean Emery documents every trip he takes, and oh, does he have an audience.
I love it when my mesh sack is as happy as I am.
We're gonna grind the pheasant.
We get wild in the kitchen
Switch arms.
and fly high with a Minnesota-bound classic.
More exciting than anything that one can experience.
Minnesota Bound. Brought to you by Minnesota's select GMC dealers.
Hi everybody, Bill and I welcome you to the show. We're hanging out in our camping setup.
Yeah, this is our winter camping teepee, a 12-man seek outside with a titanium wood stove. This is what we use to camp during the winter, even at 20 below zero.
Toasty warm. Up first, a story about a character that's hard to describe. His name, Sean Emery.
Yeah, all his friends and fans know him as the Shug, but he's a guy who is changing Minnesota's camping scene.
All right, let's see. I'll throw this in.
In life, everyone picks a path.
Just a mosey in the woods.
This guy chose the trail less traveled.
Well, excuse me, sir. Do you know where the campground is?
A Minnesotan who hikes to the winter woods to literally get away from the world.
That feeling of just having the woods to yourself, you do, man, you know. Less people go. They dream of winter camping, but most people really will never do it.
Makes you wonder.
Ah, the crazy mad red squirrel. He's always here.
Who is this guy?
You want to know who I am? Yes, sir. My name is Sean Emery. A lot of people call me Shug. Shug is a moniker.
A moniker for Minnesota's outdoor expert with a serious sense of humor.
That's all.
And a hankering
That's my hammock right there.
for camping in hammocks. Winter hammocks.
The first thing you always do is give yourself a sit. And so for me, that's a little bit too low. Where I want to be is where I'm just kind of sitting and my feet are touching. Oh yeah. And then you go back to test the lay and go, this is my underquilt. Proven. And then we'll hang, take it, and I take my little S-bainer right there. And then I'll hook on the other end of my suspension like that. You can see that puffiness is going to be right up under me, keeping me warm all night underneath.
Hammocks, the new cool for staying warm on cold winter nights.
If you're a person that doesn't like fiddling, you won't like hammocks because, you know, it's just a constant fiddling, tweaking, adjusting. I love it.
Sean's passion for hammocks sort of rubbed off.
You love this stuff.
I do love this stuff, man.
Let me explain. Notice, the woods never seem that quiet, even when Shug sets up solo.
I do sing a lot. Like I'd be going, I'm crawling in my hammock, it's the best time of the night. I'm crawling in the hammock, I've got a little fright. Oh, glory. And then I take my little pillow, put that right there. Oh, baby, that's it right there, man. Nothing more to say because Shug is in his place, man.
Gonna go for the slow fade.
Camping in silence, Sean needed an outlet. Sean always lugs along a little camera. He talks to it. Sean's story really starts here. See, Sean the Explorer doubles as Sean the producer.
Woo, buddy! And I'm looking right into the lens at you and waking up to this.
He documents every one of his trips for the World Wide Web.
If I've got my camera and I'm doing my little report, I take a moment just to stop and just sort of update about how the pulk is pulling or what footwear I'm wearing that day. And you figure this will be interesting to somebody because they'll learn something.
Little videos led to big change and a new nickname. Hang tight, we'll explain next.
This is kind of my office. I call it the Nuthead. It's the world of distraction.
Straight ahead, the Shug takes us behind closed doors to understand, maybe a bit better, his unusual outdoor passion.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Minnesota Select GMC Dealers, Star Bank, Rapala Ice Force, and by Factory Motor Parts.
Okay, Sean Emery might be one of Minnesota's most die-hard winter campers. But once you get to know him, you better understand why the guy likes to sleep in a hammock at 40 below zero. Who does that?
If great characters come a dime a dozen, Sean Emery breaks the bank.
I gotta play the wind.
A quirky outdoor character and die-hard solo camper who never really walks the woods alone.
It is almost like 38 degrees today. I always just think about hanging a hammock down there.
It's that darn little camera of his.
And when I take the camera out and talk to it, I always remember it's like a little friend. It's kind of like Tom Hanks talking to the volleyball. But you go, here I am projecting and bringing people that may never go to the woods out there.
See, a couple years back,
Well, Shug here, a little strung out right in there.
Sean became a bit of an internet sensation.
Really, at this point, try not to sweat too much. But the minute you stop like this, start to get kind of cold and can't tell if it's cold or sweat.
Ooh, buddy. Hey, everybody. Shug laying here. It's morning. It's minus 32 degrees.
His winter camping videos coveted by online viewers worldwide.
You're letting them live vicariously, and hopefully they're learning a little something. I love it when my mesh sack is as happy as I am.
Actually, it makes sense this guy could be famous.
Hello, I'm Sean Emery.
He's used to the attention.
I should have practiced this with the hat. Alive, and for you here today.
When not hanging in the woods,
Tastes like chicken.
Sean works the stage, clowning around for standing room only crowds. Sean's passion, best understood back at his house.
This is kind of my office. I call it the Nuthead. It's the world of distraction, really. It's a gear area, it's a fix-it area, it's my practice area.
The Nut Hut tells Sean's story. He first made a career in professional clowning. He worked on the road.
That's my old Ringling Brothers clown trunk right there.
Even now,
You know, I have to
Sean still trains mind and body.
You know, so just coming out, 30 to 45 minutes of really focused, get it done. Juggling's not real, it's like hammocks. It's not really popular to everybody. You never hear anybody going, let's see if there's a juggler playing anywhere in town. You don't hear that.
Exactly why Sean loves hammock camping.
Oh, hot. I feel alive already.
Think about it. Not a lot of people hang in a nylon sling during cold winter nights, but Sean loves it. He breaks the norms, and in my book, that is the definition of character.
There's a guilty pleasure just to be laying in your sleeping bag, having a cup of coffee. There's a beauty to not being all zipped in. I like to wake up, open my eyes, and I can look over and see the woods.
Even in temps too cold for clowning around.
Ooh, buddy.
Well, unless you're the Shug.
Slept real good in here. I mean, I really slept through the night.
But what I want people to go, if that idiot old man can do it, then I can do it. It's just making the time. It's not rocket science.
Take 2 sides.
Start rolling.
Yep.
Still ahead, we get wild in the kitchen with a perfect recipe for cold winter days. And later, we fly up and away with a once upon a time winter icon.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Maple Grove Lock and Safe, your premier Liberty safe dealer.
Today we're going old world style and wild in the kitchen. Chef Kevin Kowalski from Fire Lake Grill House and Cocktail Bar as always. And Chef, I understand we're making something German inspired?
Yes, you bet we are.
What are we making?
So we're doing a pheasant bratwurst.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Some simple ingredients, roasted garlic, fresh thyme.
I'm noticing this ingredient right here.
And the beer, yeah.
First step, as always.
Step 2, we're gonna grind the pheasant. So let me know when you need to stop for a beer.
Switch arms, muscle power.
So next we're going to add the pork. So this is just pork shoulder with the majority of its fat. All right, so we've got everything ground. We can go ahead and put this in the bowl.
Okay.
Now you could always use an electric mixer, but we're doing such a small amount, I think we'll just do it by our hands.
All right, what else do we have here?
So I got 4 ingredients. This is roasted garlic puree. And then we have parsley and thyme.
Freshly chopped.
And then very important, salt.
How much salt?
That is 40 grams. So roughly 0.3 ounces.
And some pepper?
Yep, black pepper. All right, if you want to start massaging that all together.
Of course.
This is just ice water. That's going to help emulsify it.
Could you add just beer if you wanted?
You could. We're going to add some of that too.
Oh, excellent.
I happen to have some right here.
Look at that. Does it matter what kind of beer you're using for this?
Yeah, for cooking I tend to go with a lager. It just doesn't get as bitter when you cook it.
All right, Chef, what is this Pinocchio-looking machine?
That is a sausage stuffer.
Sausage stuffer.
Yep. So you remember when you were a kid and you made spitballs?
Yep.
Kind of stuck them. This is kind of what we're doing here. Just because we don't want any air in there.
This looks fun.
Yeah.
Perfect. I can smell the garlic in that. It smells so good.
Yeah. If you want to just start cranking that down.
Down, all right.
All right, so next we're going to put the casing on here. So now we're ready to start. And you just want to keep a continuous motion. Yep, just keep going that way. So next we're just going to pinch these off and just make little 6-inch links. So you're going to take 2 sides.
Start rolling.
Yep.
This way.
Clockwise. As I'm standing.
Interesting. There we go.
So these are all linked out. Normally we'd let these rest, for 24 hours or so, just to kind of let the meat relax, and then you'd either smoke them or you could roast them, whatever you'd like. But we're just going to go straight to the beer.
Perfect. So, Chef, I noticed the beer is not boiling.
No, no, we're going to just cook it nice and slow.
And what's with the onion?
That's my dad.
It's tradition?
Yeah, he always did it, so I've just stuck with it.
You know what? If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so we checked our sausages. They're ready to go.
Awesome. I'm ready to taste test.
All right, let me just slice it quick.
All right, Chef, I'm going in for a taste.
All right.
Old world style is new again.
Let's see how we did.
I know it's going to be good. So good.
Good.
So easy to do, and of course, so wildly delicious. And here's your chance to add a little German flavor to your wild game recipes. Cheers.
Cheers.
More beer.
Coming up next, a Minnesota-bound classic flies high.
It is absolutely, unbelievably fun.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut, Mountain Dew, Minnesota Rebound, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Today's Minnesota Bound Classic takes my dad north on a cold winter day.
Yeah, way north to the Canadian border where he wanted to hop on board with a Minnesota icon.
Named Francis the Flyer.
His view of Minnesota's north starts from on high. On this cold, wintry day, Francis Einerson's eagle-eye view is over International Falls. He's home here, on the ground and in the air.
More exciting than anything that one can experience. Doesn't matter what it is, you have a grand command of what you see and what you do. It is absolutely, unbelievably fun.
Between his many takeoffs and landings, Francis put I Falls on the pilot charts, working to build a modern airport and building up the flying business. His decades of devotion landed him in the Aviation Hall of Fame.
This airport is what it is because of him, because of his attitude of wanting something here for the people. They broke the mold when they made Francis.
Back in his younger days, Francis worked as a bush pilot and a bounty hunter, shooting wolves from the air. It was a different era. The bounties are long gone now, but Einerson's tales as a bush pilot are still flying. Back in 1969, Francis shared the cockpit with legendary aviator Charles Lindbergh as they toured Minnesota's soon-to-be national park Voyagers.
The airplane trip across the pond, he was the first to do it, but he was also one of the first that had it absolutely down to a science. Test flew the airplane, was absolutely sure of his own ability to stay awake for 35 hours. All of this he worked into the formula.
The wings of a Super Cub are still his ticket, winter or summer, into remote wilderness haunts along the Minnesota-Ontario border. The best fishing lakes, Francis figures, are only reachable by air. Even if the fish don't bite, Francis gets his limit of winter wonder. An ice fishing village over Rainy Lake, wilderness solitude, and of course, a safe place to land.
The tough part of it is if it's a gray day, hard to see the snow, then caution must be used. If you make a mistake out here, there isn't going to be someone nearby to help.
Voyagers is a place to respect, Francis says, in more ways than one.
It's difficult to enter, so it is not overrun with people. Wintertime you can go here, such as we are today, and won't be anybody else around. You won't hear a sound. It has all the game. It has bear, it has moose, lots of deer, beaver, otter. Every imaginable northern Minnesota game bird is here.
Like wilderness parks, legendary pilots also are rare these days. Flying with Francis is like gliding through a history book. A book about those pilots with the right stuff, the bush pilots of yesteryear.
My dad always has had a knack for finding some of Minnesota's best outdoor characters.
Yeah, and I would say Francis is one of our favorites. Well, we're out of time. We hope to see you back here next week.
In the meantime, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors and outdoor camping. Yes.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. To get more Minnesota Bound, including full episodes, go to mnbound.com. And to follow our latest adventures, like us on Facebook.